So the matches in Group B have come to a close and Peru are through to the last 8. But how did they do it? We'll take a little look next. Back once again with another match review, looking back at the old Copa America match between Venezuela and Peru, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where have you been, boys? Smash your subscribe button and keep your bang up to date with all things Copa America related, Blackburn Rovers related. Woo! Football, we're going to know here, boys. Under one Rooski, that's right, of course. The group stages in Group B, done and dusted. Of course, now we'll wait to see who the opponents will be, and of course, how the bracket will look in the Copa America, of course, later today. But of course, if you're new, smash your subscribe. Check out the links in the old description. Of course, I'm on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course, Patreon. And if you are new, smash the old subscribe. So here we go, boys and girls. Let's take a recap of how what went on last night, of course, between Venezuela and Peru, as they try to get, of course, to the knockout stages. And, of course, Peru just did that, confirmed. Here we go, boys and girls. Here we bloody go. Of course, 1-0 win in the end for Peru over Venezuela in Boisou. That's right, to get over the line. In a very sort of mostly one-sided match here with, of course, Peru, 57% possession, 43% going in favour of Venezuela. Peru going under the radar a little bit because I think they did have a staggered start. They did play their first game until everybody else had completed their first game. So nobody knew what to expect from them. Remember, last round of the Copa America, prior to this tournament, they made it to the final. Of course, were ousted by Brazil in the end back in 2019. So was it 2019? Regardless of when that was, but it was the last Copa America match or tournament prior to this one, and they did very, very well. This time around, though, they are going about things the right way, and they did start with a defeat. I recall as well to Brazil when they got going. So it did look very, very perilous at the start, but guess what? They're singing it at the end of it. Of course, finishing second in this group. Of course, landed themselves a favourable tie somewhat in the old quarterfinals stages. Anyway, 57% possession for Peru, 43% for Venezuela. Just the one goal, Andre Carrillo on the 48th minute, just after half-time. Set piece, corner. Wasn't the prettiest, wasn't one for the portfolio, but it'll do for Peru. And of course, Peru will go through. Goodness gracious, that rhymes, right? That soccer down. It will do for Peru as they go through. How about you? That's right. So 1-0 win in the end. 12 shots for Peru, 10 for Venezuela. 6 of those were off target. 4 of them were on target. 2 were blocked. 4 corners for Peru. And guess what? They made one of them count. Put the ball in the back of the net. Big chances. 3 of them. 2 of them were missed as well. Any woodworks hit? I don't think so. Aerial duels were won by Venezuela. However, the passes, 600 passes for Peru compared to the 444 for Venezuela. 87 of those, percent-wise, were completed at around about 519. As for Venezuela, 84% success rate with the passes as well. Yeah, very, very comfortable display by Peru, and of course they're going about things the right way, and hopefully for them they'll land a nice favourable tie in the knockout stages to maybe move on into the semi-finals. We'll take a look at the bracket and how that looks in a little bit. Let's take a look at the shot grid right here, right now, as we can see where all the action took place. Of course, Venezuela represented by the light blue or turquoise or teal, whichever one, however you look at it, and these long range or these darker ones are for Peru. That's right. A couple of long range stingers here, not on target, but on just past the halfway line by Peru. And of course, you can see the shots on target. And of course, the goal was in there. I probably would say it's number 2 here. Carrillo, is he a defender? Yeah, she is at number 18. So it will be this one. Probably here, he's probably buried a little bit, but regardless of all that, Peru looked the comfortable side. From the highlights, I didn't watch all the game. I did watch the highlights only on this game, but yeah, decent performance in the end. And of course, looking forward to seeing what Peru have got in their locker in the quarterfinals. Take a look at the heat maps then for Venezuela. Again, this is the goalkeeper right here. Coming up down that right-hand side is the possession. A lot of possession in that middle third. Not so much going forward in the attacking area. Sparse bits of possession here. Maybe a little bit in the actual box, but not too much. On the flip side, kind of similar, really. If we look back on that, it's just kind of a little bit flipped. The goalkeeper very, very busy for Peru. And again, dominated position in midfield. And again, when they came forward, it was coming down the left-hand side for the most part, but very, very spread. A lot of grass covered by the Peruvians. The touch grid here, again, you can see the pockets of where space was used. Again, this middle here was quite starved of possession, so maybe that was a fault, an area that they could have worked on a bit more to use to maybe get to open up the Peruvians. But unfortunately, Venezuela failed. I don't know what happens to them. I think they crash out. Yes, take a look at the touch map there for Peru. And again, very, very much dominated dominated in the middle third here, both going forward and defending, and they keep it very, very busy. Again, not so much going forward as well. Results to a couple of long range efforts to try and trouble the keeper, and then when the set pieces were in play, they made them count. Of course, putting the ball back in there. Let's take a look at the old what have we got going on here? The starting 11s then, shall we? With Venezuela, who are of course crash out. £18 million worth of rated talent in here for Venezuela. Wilker Fariñez, 23-year-old goalkeeper, he'll be back. Mikel Villanueva as well, just 28 years of age. Pingo Mago, he's going home. Fariese as well. Ronald Hernandez, Roberto Rosales, Junior Marino, Edison Castillo, Christian Caceres Jr., Jefferson Savarino, and Sergio Cordova. Jefferson Savarino is the most expensive player. He's around about $6 million worth of talent there. And Sergio Cordova as well from Arminia Bielefeld. So it's still a young squad. How old was that? That's 25.7 age compared to 29.3 of Peru. We're looking about knocking on £50 million worth of talent here. Pedro Galice between the sticks, Alexander Gallants, Miguel Julio, Miguel Tariquio, Aldo Cozo, Renato Tapia, £22 million worth of talent right there on the books of Celta Vigo. Yoshmir Yogtun, Sergio Puna, Christian Cueva, Andre Carrillo, and Gianluca Lapadula with the coolest name in town. That's right, the goal from Carrillo as well. Let's take a look at the subs then. We did see the likes of Alexander Gonzalez coming on, Jose Andres Martinez, Romero Otero, Jefferson Soltero, and Jan Hutaldo coming on as well to try and change it up, and unfortunately didn't do it. In the end, Peru, Luis Abraham will go through, Wilder Katanga, Racel Garcia, Alex Valeria, and Santiago Armino as well. Another £20 million worth of talent on the bench, as you can see. Take a look at the situation over in the old the match ratings and things like that. What do we got going on? The man of the match, I believe, for everybody was Christian Cueva for Peru. 8.1 standout superstar. Didn't get the goal. Carrillo with the goal. Pedro Galicia with a 7.5 at the back as well. 7.3 for Taruco. As for Venezuela, their superstar standout was probably Villanueva between in the heart of defence there. Margot alongside him as well with a 7.3. But a little bit toothless for Venezuela. Guess what? They only scored just 2 goals all tournament. Peru have got 5 for them, and of course we'll have a look at them in a minute. And of course it's the timeline of events down here, 7.04 average rating according to the computer, and we'll see how they fare in the knockout stages. Of course, let's take a look at those knockout stages in just a second. This is a situation over in the group. Brazil are home and host, of course. Peru join them. Colombia and Ecuador make the last 8, and this is a recap of the schedule, how all things panned out. So Peru's first game was a demolition by Brazil, so it wasn't a warm welcome to Copa America, but they did bounce back with wins against Colombia, draws against Ecuador, and of course the win against Venezuela right here to finish second in the group. And what that's done is left the bracket looking like this. Peru are in the lower half, which is not great. I don't think that, to be honest with you, I don't know how that works out. If you finish first and second, to be honest, I think the second placed team really should be in the opposite end of the group. For me, that's how I see it. So hopefully, I hope I misread this. Because you would fancy, the top 2 teams shouldn't be in the same side of the bracket. They should ultimately, if they are the strongest 2 out of the whole thing, they should meet up in the final, not in the semi-finals, which of course this looks like here. And again, for me, that's a little bit batshit crazy. But anyway, regardless of all that, we'll know the opponents this time tomorrow for sure. I hope to get the reviews in before that, but we will see with the likes of Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, Paraguay. They're all through, but we just don't know where they're going to land up in the old bracket. But I'm looking forward to the knockout stage. Finally, we're going to get to the nitty gritty of the Copa America. What are your thoughts on Brazil? What are your thoughts on Peru? And of course, the other 2 nations that go through, Colombia and Ecuador. Can they surprise any of the nations in the other group? Let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. As I look forward to those conferences, we'll do previews, predictions. Hopefully, we'll have some watch-alongs as well for this. But we'll see about that when, of course, we come around. But until then, give the video a love, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Check out the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon as well. But until then, I'll see you soon for the next one, whenever that is. But until then, stay safe. I'll see you soon.